Recording.
Right, ready. Stop.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to my lecturer, TMC, Dr. Malaizati, and my fellow colleagues. Ustaz, Ustaz, dan Ustazah. So today I'd like to talk about a topic called crimes you make today will affect the future. So, what is crime? Crime, in general, it is an illegal act for which someone can be punished for by the government or a higher council. So, as a kid, as a young boy, what will you do, or what crime? What's a crime to be for a kid? Spilling milk? Yeah, spilling milk over the table, or spilling food on the table. And you'd get punished by who? Who's the higher authority as a kid? Yes, parents, mummies and daddies. So, let's talk about my story. I've once committed an amazing crime. This year, what happened was I conducted a U-turn on a non-U-turn area where the cops are literally in front of me. But I did it anyways. Yeah, I did. So, that was a crime that I did. And what were the consequences for that? How did it affect my future? It did affect, but not much. Just a little bit. I had to pay a fine. I had to pay a fine that cost about, say, $100, I guess, for that fine. So it really affected me. In a way. Why? Because I could have used that $100 to actually spend that money from my dates with my 4 girlfriends. Yes. It affected my future, my life. So that's just an example of how a crime that you've made will actually affect the future. Okay, now let's talk about something more serious. I recently went to court. I went to court, not convicted, in court. Okay? So I had a visit, and I find it sympathetic. I felt empathy seeing people who committed crimes. But they shouldn't have. I'll give an example. Stealing. Stealing is a crime that has been overnight for quite some time, and quite recently as well. So in that court that I went to, there was a sentence stating that the punishment for stealing would be 5 years in jail, potentially. You know, that really affects the future. You know why? Our degree is only 4 years, and you have to be in jail for 5 years for a crime that you've committed, for a crime that you've made, for stealing a phone and selling that phone for like $5 just to buy drugs. See? So that is why whatever decisions you make now will always affect the future. Now, how do you prevent crimes, or how do you prevent making mistakes? You can't. You really can't, because that's actually where we learn. We learn from mistakes, but don't make too much major mistakes. A small mistake is fine. If you spill your milk, spill your food, parents will get angry, but after that you won't do it, right? Am I right? But if you were to go to jail for 5 years, how do you think your parents would feel? So it really does affect it. It really, really does affect the future. In conclusion to this, I'd just like to say that whatever you do now will definitely affect the future, and try your best not to commit any crimes. And for your information, I'd just like to quote a quote from Chris Grosser. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. Why? Because today, I made a crime as well. In this class. You guys wanna know what it is?
You cheated in my class test.
No. That was on record. The crime that I did today was, my script was as empty as this whiteboard. And yet, I have the opportunity to make an amazing performance here. Thank you, everybody.